Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, couldn't get to this part of our process and not talk about this bill. Ask one more time to really think about your vote, even though I know that this is already kind of a foregone conclusion, so I won't fight it out with you. I do want to say something about my desk mate, Miss Symphonia Thompson. How lucky I am to sit next to you, Miss T. How fortunate I am to listen to your stories, and how fortunate I am to be able to look you in the eye and know that everything that you say is true. And your expectations from all of us other members that we do the same. Unfortunately, things have changed pretty quick, it seems like, around here. I feel like in this building and the way things are supposed to be, I feel like in this building, the way things are supposed to be is that we're all supposed to go back to our districts and come back and talk about what's happened, and that another member would believe you, and that their pain or their sorrow. Mr. Speaker, can I get order?
Members, please take your conversations outside the rail.
That when a member talks about the pain or their sorrow in their district, that would matter to you. Ms. T and I were just talking, and she said, Ramon, people don't know what you go through. As she was telling me a childhood story. You know, today when you look at the immigration enforcement that's going on around our country, I know y'all see it on Instagram or whatever source, and you see that young kids are crying as their mother or father gets deported. I can't think of the weight that those poor kids and the trauma they're going to take with them. And I know when I think about 287G, while this takes place in jail, you did hear that one of the reasons why this bill came back differently is because they didn't want us to focus on what happens just in jail. I want to make sure it's clear to all sheriffs around the country, maybe you still want to do the tactical model. And that means an opening for sheriff's officers who are untrained in immigration enforcement to potentially be doing things outside the jail. And if you grew up like I did in the 80s or 70s, when people did not call police, we had a lot of violence. We had a lot of gang members, and they felt safe. And 287G, it is going to contribute to less people calling the police in communities like mine. And while it may make us safer when someone gets into jail, we established last time that this is already by law in existence. A sheriff commits a crime by not turning over somebody that has an ICE hold. It's a Class B misdemeanor for the jailer and for the sheriff. I've experienced what it's like for somebody to get deported and you're the person left behind. So do you know the weight of my sorrow? What's most offensive is how hard, even though I knew this was going to happen and there was going to be no way we could stop it, how hard I know myself and the chairman, the author, and probably the only man that should be writing this kind of bill is the guy that sits right there in the straw hat, Sheriff Louderback. It's hard for me to accept that, I'm sorry, Ramon, you're just going to have to deal with it. We're going to pass this no matter what. I don't care about your experience. I don't care about what you went through. I don't care about the crime or potential crime that's going to happen in your district. But when this man sits there, and I've been telling him all day, I know what kind of character he has. He's been implementing this program for years. And he recommended the bill that we sent over to the Senate. He knew he didn't want to create bureaucracy in this grant program. He wanted to keep it simple. And they didn't care. They wanted what they wanted. So I thank both authors. But I know one thing. I gave the man in the straw hat all my faith that he knew what he was talking about, and I knew that nothing that came from his mouth was going to be a lie. And I would hope that the Senate would respect the House when it comes to issues when you have what in essence is a subject matter expert, even though I don't agree on the policy, the ultimate policy. So I know I'm not going to get you to vote no on this. So I'm not even going to ask you to vote no. I'm just going to hope that you make sure that as we fund something like this, and children start suffering, whether it be in their own home, and innocent people, including U.S. citizens like we see every day on social media, begin to pay the price, we're all responsible for it. And when and if we need to make changes to this program, I hope that we do.